We're here in Lincoln, California for the opening weekend of the March WPT Tour. This blood and bare knuckles battle is sure to bust the $100,000 guarantee, and Mr. Creepy's full intention is to get a big piece of that pie. So let's go. This is gonna be fun. With the Champagne Series completed 2 months ago, the WPT Rolling Thunder is rolling at Thunder Valley, and 5 of these 10 people will make the money in this tournament. And when there's 3 tables left, 2 will have a legitimate chance of winning it all, and I'll let you know who and how they did it by the time the vlog is through. Hang with and have fun on the ride. I'll give you some hand breakdowns and insight into some of the mental strains we all go through in playing a tournament for several hours. This is Dan Ross. He will not cash in this tournament, but it's okay because he's not playing. Dan is the glue that gets us all the live update information during the tournaments, and if you went here, you'd know that we blew right past the 100K guaranteed prize pool amount in the first 16 minutes of the tournament. The starting stack is 25,000 tournament chips, and late registration lasts for just under 5 hours. As for me, I start the tournament off by getting crushed 3 times in the first round of orbits. The first with the second nut straight, losing to the nut straight. The second time here, raising with queens pre-flop and calling a 7K raise, and finding the time to fold my queens against an all-in on a king-high flop. And the third time, hitting top-top and losing to a runner-runner nut flush. This is Rob. He's on my left at my table. Hey, remember junior high? Remember junior high math? Remember the transitive property of junior high math? By that transitive property of junior high math, Rob's got half my chips. He busted out the guy that beat my queens and the guy that went runner-runner on me. Rob's got a lot of chips, and by the transitive property, Rob's a good guy. These are my chips. This is how I feel on the break. Not so well for Mr. Creepy. I lost 60% of my stack. I'll give you details in a minute. Trying to hang in there, coming back to 4-8 big blinds in the small blind, and fingers crossed, hope I can stay alive. This is a poker professional from Vegas named Ricky, and he flew in for this series. We say hi briefly on break and agree to catch up further on the next break. I come back, look at his table an hour later, and he's gone. This is a map of Northern California, and Thunder Valley is right here. They get a lot of traffic from the locals, but when they put on a tournament series, they also get a lot of people from here, here, and here. I'm one of the lucky ones. I live here, which means I only have to drive all the way up there to get here. That's only about 80 miles one way, and I take advantage of Thunder Valley's free charging stations for my EV at the rate of about 20 miles charged per hour while I play. I arrived with a near empty battery, meaning I have no way to get back home for 5 hours. If I bust out before then, I'm going to be virtually forced to pay $500 for a second bullet, and while most people in the tournament are playing to win, my goal for the next 3 hours is just finding something to do. With that in mind, remember this stack? I increased it by 50% almost immediately in the first orbit, then lost most of my gains folding my blinds in the second. Then, with me on the button, my table broke, and I was moved right into the big blind at my next table and got blinded down further to 7,600 chips. Fortunately, I got pocket aces, and I was called by pocket fives, and they held. Up to 19K, I soon got pocket queens, shoved and held against pocket eights. My friend Sonia brought a brand new stack to the table and clobbered me down to 14K. Then I won 2 more all-ins, the table broke, and then we went on break. And I've got 50,500 chips. This is Sonia. How many chips you got?
I have 46,000 right now.
And guess what happened? She just bought in, and she limped with
Jack 10, off-suited, by the way. It was off-suited.
And I had king queen. And what happened?
And the flop was queen. I flopped the straight, in other words.
She flopped the straight. I flopped a queen.
Yeah, with a king.
She bet the straight. And,
yes.
And I raised the straight.
And then he gave me some gift over there. So hey, here we go.
All in, tank call. Oops. Well, we're both healthy going into a 30-minute break. That's when we get back over there. And wish us both luck. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Yeah, bye.
If you looked at the board behind Sonia when we were talking, you'd realize registration is going to close after the break. Blinds are coming back at 1K, 2K. 71 of those 217 remaining people are going to make the money, and the average chip stack is just below 64,000. So although we do have healthy stacks relative to what we had prior, in the chip stack department, we're still both below average. That's my finger. That's what 50,500 tournament chips look like. That guy drove here from Reno, and that's double my stack. Those chips belong to Mark. Mark tells me his nickname is Sparky because he's an electrician, and in level 2 he was down to one $1,000 chip. He's soon to shove all in pre-flop with kings and get called by both this guy's aces and another guy's queens. Mark spikes a king. Mark wins! I look around the table from seat 3 and figure out that 1 in 3 of us are going to make the money. This is Howard Wheeler. He's in seat 7 and keeps raising my big blind. I keep folding and he keeps showing monster hands, and I'm down to 39,000 chips. I pick up ace-jack in the middle position and decide to make a move. Mark shoves ahead of me. I tank and fold. The new guy on my left calls with ace-10. Mark tables ace-queen. Everybody misses, and I avoid elimination. That's tournament crusher Mario Lopez. He's sitting right behind me, and I go over to get a quick ussy. He busts out the next hand. I look around for my new friend Rob. Gone. Sonia. Gone. Oh my God, you're not going to believe this. Like, all of my friends, they're gone. They're gone. There's just me left, but I'm still in. And I got a couple double ups. I got like ace-king versus king-7, and then I got like 40,000 more. Anyway, I have just under average stack. Hey, I'm almost average. That's what we're coming into in level 13, a little bit away from the money. And if I can make them in cash, I can afford milk and cat litter and things like that. I need to elaborate on what I just said. First of all, I shoved with deuces and won a flip against ace-jack, and I ended up calling a shove with ace-king offsuit. The other person was bluffing. He had king-7. We both missed. So I got a double-double. I'm at like 135, which is like really good compared to where I am. Hey, I really enjoy my time here. This may be it. I found a friend. It's Jeff Day, and he's still in with me. Jeff, where do you stand right now?
It looks like a little below average. Been riding a roller coaster. Had it up, had it down, took kings against aces, and made it all back.
Oh, hell yeah! And we're, what, 20 from the money?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
20 from
exactly,
the money.
20.
Two minutes to go to the end of the break. We'll see you soon. Good luck.
See you in the money.
He was 20 from the money. Now he's here. Jeff Day would make the money at number 62, and coming to our table with 7 tables left is my buddy Jeff Spruitenburg to sit in seat 6. And yes, from the original 10, we've whittled down to half my table, or as I like to call it, Sparky Mark and the Funky Bunch. The dealer says Sparky Mark is a good-looking guy, but leaves out the qualifier for your age. I get jealous and comment, if you take away the scarf and the mustache, he's just a regular schmo like the rest of us. Mark says he can't shave his mustache because he'd look like Mick Jagger. I say, what's wrong with that? And he says, Mick Jagger is the second ugliest man in the world. You know who's the first? Never shying away from controversy when someone steps into it, I say, I don't know, you? Mark says, no, Keith Richards. I tell Mark I used to get Keith Richards and Cliff Richard mixed up when I was a kid. The dealer asks, who's Cliff Richard? To which I mentioned he sang the song Suddenly with Olivia Newton-John from the Xanadu soundtrack, critically acclaimed at the time as one of the best soundtracks and worst movies of all time. I told her I liked both. Howard tells me Cliff Richard was very popular in England at the time, and rather than go into that, I'll just say that Sparky Mark had about 400,000 chips, and this is how he hit his downfall. First, he has pocket kings and raises to 100K, and I fold. Seat 8 raises enough to make Mark nearly all in, and Mark folds. 8 shows aces, and Mark has escaped execution 3 times now. But for him, the worst is yet to come. With the blinds 5 and 10K, Mark opens for 20. I have pocket aces. I raise to 60 out of my 150. Mark calls. The flop is low junk. Mark checks. I shove. He folds. Then loses a flip a little bit later and is gone. I do admit Mark made it farther than the average player would, leaves as a qualified opponent, and should thank someone for knitting him a nice sweater. Meanwhile, I've been knitting up the ladder. I know, right? Crazy. I'm still alive. Right there, I think there's 40 left. I'm one of them. I have 224,000 chips. I'm still alive, a little short, but by no means fold or shove. Hanging in there, trying to make the final table. The tournament started at 11, so it's a little long for me, but I'm going to see how I hang in. All right. Stay tuned. You remember Howard, right? At 8:45 p.m., he makes a move with an open shove with pocket eights for 180K and is called by both pocket queens and ace king and busts out 30th. So, now I've made my promise and the original 10 are down to 2. I'd like to thank you for watching this. Remember, this is a really small fledgling channel, and if you'd like to tell me something personally, the best way to do it is in the comments below. I'm learning to grow as a poker vlogger, and if you'd like to be along for the ride, like and subscribe and we'll grow together. For all you haters, I did not expect to run so deep on my first tournament vlog, and I promise if you join the creepy movement, I'm going to lose the next one and even cry a little bit. Jeff's shove looks like this. At 27, we redraw, and I end up at the same table, which ends up being the final table in seat 7. Looks like I got about 230 there. A few hands later, I'd get moved to table 3 for table balancing. So now Jeff's over 500K in control and I'm playing 4 corners. At one point with the blinds 15, 30, 30, I have 150,000. I calculate that out as 75,000 per orbit, and as the short stack, if I get blinded out, I can last 2 full orbits. After being blinded down to just 1 orbit, 2 much larger stacks at my table get involved in an all-in with 21 left, leaving one of them in the big blind with only 30,000 chips. I pick up pocket 7s and open shove, knowing that if I get called and beaten by a larger stack, I'm still going to ladder higher than the smaller all-in blind stack as long as he doesn't beat us both. A larger stack calls me with king queen and the short stack has 7-9. Unfortunately, the short stack wins blind, but I win the side pot when king high doesn't improve, chipping up to 90K. The following hand, I open shove under the gun, get a walk, then this. Still in. I'm probably 19th or 20th out of the 21 people left. I had 90K with the blinds at 15:30, and I just waiting around. I've pretty much given up on winning, but I'm just trying to ladder up as much as I can. I just shoved right before the break with ace-9 for 90K, and I got a walk. Everyone folded, so now I have, I guess, 165, which is really low. I think behind me you could see, but I can't see that it's 2040 coming back. Probably going to bust out soon, but feeling good about playing short stack for 2 hours, and maybe 2 hours more. We'll see. Coming back from break, I got really lucky. If you looked at the board a few seconds ago, you'll notice that somebody busted out while I was talking. I laddered up to 20 and the next pay jump was at 16. I was coming back with big blind with 1.65 orbits, and I fully intended to get blinded out to get to 16. A large stack made the mistake of limping with pocket 3s, gave me a free look, and I flopped trips. I shoved for my final 85K, he called, I won and chipped up to 410, and then later to 470, which gave me a legitimate chance to get back in. A couple hands later, the table broke and I moved to table 2, meaning I'd played with all the final 27 players at some point. A few hands after that, I opened raise to 200K with ace-10 offsuit and got shoved on. I took my time, saw that there were 17 players left, and folded. Had we been at 16, my decision would have been different. Okay, the very next hand is coming up in a few seconds. It's my bust out hand, and don't tune away because the tournament doesn't end when I bust out. I'm going to show you the final table and all the payouts before we're done, and with that said, when we reached the final 16, I didn't think at the time I could ladder to 14, which is the next pay jump. With 270K, that was probably a miscalculation, and what I did may have been a mistake. I shoved with pocket deuces under the gun, got over shoved on by kings and ace-jack. Now, this hand is important to me as well as everyone else because it ended up that the winner of this hand won the entire tournament. Let's check it out. there's runner, and there's another runner. Fun, right? Here's what I thought at the time. Short stack the whole time. Very happy with the way I played, very happy with the result. Can't wait to do it again. Now, Jeff ended up finishing 12th. Thanks to Dan Ross for the picture of the final table. Please like, subscribe, and comment. I'd love to hear from you. And if you ever play a tournament with me, come up and say hi. Send me a picture so I can include you in on my vlog. And here's the final results of this one. Take care. Stay creepy.